Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are. So thank you so much for joining us for this very insightful webinar. Actually, I wanted to speak to all of you for this very important topic for various reasons. One is, we have been reached out by a lot of denim manufacturers, brands working with denim. They specifically requested me to talk about this topic. So when we wanted to run, as Akhil mentioned, we wanted to run a series of webinar topics. This is one of the topics which has been requested by a lot of our clients, manufacturers, who really want us to speak about this particular topic. And again, you all know, I think most of you are coming from denim sector. If not, you're aware of, how the denim sector per se or the product denim is placed in terms of or in front of sustainability angle. That's why we chose to talk about this topic. And, I'm sure most of you are aware of a lot of my books. One of my key books in terms of this sector is Sustainability in Denim. I'll be able to show that book as well. So I've written a lot of aspects pertaining to sustainability in denim sector. Anyway, this is a 30 minutes webinar. Of course, there is a lot of aspects I can speak through, but again, keeping time in mind, I just want to speak about, touch upon very important topics on this, pertaining to this, very important topic. So, having said that, there are a lot of aspects we can speak through. I just confined this 30 minutes talk to speak through only 4 major aspects. One is, what are the areas of concern when it comes to sustainability with denim industry? Second one, I also want to talk about what's our green story model and our presence. Again, I want to talk about our expertise, our experiences, specifically in this sector. Third, I want to talk to you about the case studies, what we have done so far with our customers. Of course, again, we have worked with a lot of denim brands, denim retailers, denim manufacturers, but again, time won't be sufficient. It will not be sufficient enough for us to speak through everything. So I just earmark 2-3 important case studies to speak through. Otherwise, it's going to be very, it will not be that informative. That's why I just want to showcase some of the case studies we have done with some of our key customers as well. Finally, I want to wrap this informative webinar up with what are the tips, in terms of reducing the environmental footprints of denim. Again, the tips, the methodology, what I'm going to speak through now, it's all coming from my experience. I've been to a lot of factories across the globe, very specifically denim sector, starting from fiber till the process is made, even denim washing factories, denim manufacturing factories, cotton sew factories, denim production facilities. I've been to a lot of factories across the globe, not only in Asia, also in Europe, also in Africa. I've been to a lot of denim factories in Madagascar. So I just want to, collectively, I want to speak, all these aspects pertaining to environmental footprints of denim via this webinar. Next one, please. Yeah, I think needless to mention the areas of concern within this sector. Again, this is the common areas of concern for the entire textiles and clothing sector. I'll just tell you, I'll let you know where this denim is, standing in terms of all these areas of concern. The entire textile and clothing sector supply chain is facing a lot of issues. Again, if I have to, highlight the areas of concern in the order of hierarchy, the first one, again, this is very specific to denim as well. Of course, needless to mention for the different other sectors within the textile and fashion space. First one is the chemicals. Again, when you talk about chemicals, people always think of KMNO4, potassium permanganate. It is not only that. So there are a lot of hazardous chemicals we deal with. We also deal with a lot of non-hazardous chemicals. Again, we talk about human toxicity with 1,4-dichlorobenzene equivalents. Even if you want to go to that level of depth, or you can just still stay on a very surface level, still we are working with many inevitable chemicals. It can be hazardous, it can be non-hazardous, doesn't matter. But still, we are revolving around a lot of chemicals within this spectrum, within this sector, be it denim or be it non-denim. Second one, energy and carbon footprint. Needless to say, starting from fiber, starting to spanning across spinning, weaving, it's denim, right? So weaving and then entire wet processes, starting from singeing, deicing, scouring, souring, bleaching if required, then pre-dyeing, dyeing, finishing. Wow, all this very long set of processes, lengthy processes, including demanding a lot of energy in various forms, that is responsible for creating a huge carbon footprint. Then, having said this, such a lengthy chemical process, needless to say, it demands a lot of water. When I say water and chemicals, that really obvious need of having a wastewater treatment plant. And then today, with all these regulations in space, we cannot think of ejecting the water out. So again, some countries have regulations in terms of ZLD, zero liquid discharge. If not, we have to it's inevitable to recycle the water for various other reasons. If not, regulation specific. Then air emissions. Finally, we have waste management. Again, hazardous, non-hazardous. So this is overall concerns within the textile and fashion space. Talking about denim, these areas of concern are very much problematic, and they play a significant role in terms of rather urgent areas of concern, rather they become like emergent areas of concern. So one has to focus upon all this. And when we talk about these areas of concern, right, there are two specific regimes. Let me put it this way. One is, I think this understanding is very important. One is the supply chain specific areas of concern. Second one is product level. So, both have to go hand in hand. It's needless to mention, one cannot do a assimilation of product level without having supply chain. Similar is the case. Once we have a supply chain, end of the day, the dots have to be joined with the product level. That's called holistic, right? What is happening today in the sector is, it's all a la carte. People work with environmental audits, chemical audits, Higg index, or whatever it is, right? ZDLC, ZLD, they all just stay alone. They are not brought up to the product level to find out what is this specific initiatives I have done in my factory, what is all doing in terms of the final product I'm doing with. It is all not done. So that has to be done. Then only you get a collative and collective picture of, hey, this is my supply chain, which is coming up to producing this denim product. And per piece, per kilogram of denim fabric or per piece of product, this is what bestowed with in terms of footprints. And once I start working with the reduction levers, hotspots, once I start working with all this, and this is what I'm going to learn. And so both the focuses are very important, and they have to go hand in hand, right? So that's a very kind of damn basics one has to really align with, and this is the way you can think forward in terms of working with your supply chain as well as working with the product. Next one. Yeah. So I just don't want to give you guys only the theoretical side. I really wanted to bring you a connotation with the practical side. So for example, denim, as you all know, it involves a lot of processes. Be it a small process, be it a big process, it involves a lot of processes. I think denim itself is such a beautiful product. And when it comes to nitty-gritties in terms of sustainability lens, it has a lot of specific processes which demand, again, a lot of resources in terms of energy, water, chemicals, and it is responsible for creating a lot of emissions in terms of energy, land, water, air. So, when we do a product level study or when we do a supply chain level study, we have to take into account of all the specific supply chain stages, supply chain processes, which all have to be assimilated to the product level. All right. Having said that, I just want to show you one example of a specific process, denim garment washing. Again, it can be washed with acid wash or softener wash, right? So I want to give you the LCA of both. So for example, 1.01 kilogram of garment per kilogram of garment, you need all these inputs. Let's say water 76 liters, electricity 7.23 kilowatt hour, steam 1 kilogram, desizing agent of 10 grams, and then anti-black staining agent of 10. So the list goes like this. Potassium permanganate, which is KMNO4, any inevitable part of denim, which again is demanded of 32.5 grams. So this is for acid wash. What would if I do it with softener wash? So for the same amount of garment, you need, again, this much liter of water. See the complete cascading effect in terms of two different finishings for the same product. So now, if you are doing with acid, you'll really find out, okay, what it is. And if you think that, Dr. Muthu, I cannot change my acid wash to softener for various reasons. So then we need to work with you to find out what can be done within the acid wash sector, acid wash process. What can be done? What are the levers? What is the possibility of reducing? But again, you cannot say that my neighboring factory is doing this. This is entirely different. So you have to look within your own supply chain, within your own processes. So there we need to find out what is the possibility. So the possibilities of reduction will come in different fronts. So we need to look into all these aspects. Finally, okay, you did all this. Okay. So what? It is going to do with the product level. So if I have an acid wash with this inventory and I calculate the carbon footprint, let's say per kilogram of denim, per piece of denim, let's assume that it's going to be, let's say 7.5 kg CO2e per piece. Now I change within the acid wash, I work with water, I work with steam, I reduce my chemicals. So now what it is going to create in terms of wonders, is it going to create or not? So it's going to be 7.5 to 7, 6.5. So that's what we need to do. Or if you have a flexibility, if you have a placeholder of replacing this with softener washing, so this is what it is. So we need to find this out. So I want to demonstrate what is the supply chain level, process level data, how this can work towards the product level. Next one, please. And then, so I also want to give you what is the total product environmental footprint of denim. So, instead of working with just one denim, because every denim is unique, I want to just give you this idea as well. So there are 3 kinds of denim, 3 types of jeans, which was taken by a study. Of course, we are protected with NDA with our clients, so I couldn't show our own clients' data. So I just pulled something from the, literature. So you can see lean denim, lost legend. It's one of the denims, 16.65. Another denim, it's tilted one, 12.49. Grim thin, it's 11.97 in terms of carbon footprint. That's the same thing for different other indicators. So you can see that every product produced in the same factory with different processes, different types, it will fetch different environmental footprints. Again, environmental footprints with carbon, with water, they are going to be completely different depending on various factors will come into play. So having a LCA study in place with real primary data captured from your own supply chain, that is going to give you a lot of key insights in terms of alleviating the footprints, reducing the footprints within your own supply chain. That's the key. That I just want to demonstrate all this. I want to show you the real data. That's why this. I want to show these examples. Next one, please. Okay, so where our experience comes from in terms of all these aspects, what I just spoke through, whatever I'm going to speak through further. So, we work with a lot of denims in India, Pakistan, I mean, denim mills in different supply chain processes in India, Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, Jordan, Turkey, Indonesia, and Vietnam. These are very, some examples. There are a lot of other examples we can think of. So the major denim countries, major denim producing countries, this is where we completely work with. I bring almost 15 years of experience working with the denim sector in terms of environmental footprints. Next one, please. And again, why I show this slide, it is not to showcase our expertise alone, to show that every country has its unique, geographical inputs when it comes to local, regional impacts, and also regulations are entirely different. So we have onboarded all these experiences by working with different factories, different manufacturing supply chain partners in all these regions. So that is all going to help us in terms of building our platform, which Akhil has shown before, SaaS platform. So we have captured all the data and we have brought all that experiences in building this. And coming to our 40. So we do have a strongest database, as I said, working with different countries, different manufacturing partners, different supply chain partners. So we built our own database, and we visited, needless to say, many hundreds of factories across the globe. And personally, I have almost 20 years of experience working in textile sector, specifically sustainability side 15 years, and Green Stories, in operating the space for almost a decade. So we have gathered so much of data. We work with many thousands of supply chains, and we have analyzed so far 40 plus unique fibers Some are just developed yesterday, and even more than hundreds of processes data we analyzed. So we have got the experience, expertise, skill sets working with all these aspects, which are all helped to work with all of you, which are all helped to develop the solution which Akhil has shown, the SaaS platform, and the experience on grounds which we work with, that's going to help us to work with you as well in terms of bringing what is the best in class aspect which we can work towards, reducing the footprints from your own product, which is coming out from your own supply chain. And also, we are one of the verified bodies. So we try to, I was one of the committee members working with Cascade, now Cascade, previously SAC, since its inception. One thing we wanted to change is the audit redundancy. So having said this, for LCI, we do validate the data. We don't just accept the data, self-reported data, because it has its own limitations. So we want to validate the data. When I say validation, so we don't want any factory to redo the similar thing. In case if you say that, Dr. Muthu, we have HIG data, fair enough. So we are one of the verified bodies. We can come to your facility, validate the HIG. From validated HIG, we can take it for the LCI. Right. So we have huge experience in terms of working with HIG, in terms of developing the methodology, in terms of working with various factories across the globe, many hundreds of factories. We also work with data validation, coaching programs, improvement programs, be it anything, environmental program management, chemical management, or the entirety of the product level, supply chain level. And our expertise on the grounds of LCAs has already been discussed. So we work with Cradle to Gate. Even we have done many consumer surveys, talking to the customers, hey, how long you use this denim? So way back in 2014, 13, I worked for various brands in terms of administering consumer surveys to ascertain what is the pulse of customer in terms of different types of denim, how long they will use, how do they dispose, what is the disposal scenarios in different countries. So we have got all these experiences in terms of denim from cradle to gate as well as cradle to grave. It can be extrapolated to gate to grave. Next one, please. Again. Now, so if you ask me, okay, so we have a process, we do supply chain level of assessment, then we bring all the supply chain level of data to the assimilation of product level. Now you ask, what is the way to identify the issues? As I said, the best thing is when we assimilate the data, we have to look forward. When we want to find out the issues, we should look backwards. That's the key, right? So when we look at, right, we have to look at, for example, what are the key products? For example, I work with one of the biggest manufacturers in the Asia for denim. Like we developed almost a comprehensive LC of 20 denim pants. I think that includes all the permutation combinations of different processes, different finishes, different fibers, different spinning methods like rotor yarn, ring yarn. Again, they have got a new type of yarn spinning mechanism, different fabrication methods with different inputs and different chemical processes, finishes, all the permutation combinations. We work with 25 final products. With that, we were able to work with different fibers, different yarns, different fabrication methods, wet process, including spinning and garmenting. And we first begin with cradle to gate, then we extrapolate to gate to grave. With that, we were able to find out the footprints, digital product passports, and roadmap for reduction. Hang on. Once we did all this, right, the further thing is that you have to do the footprint of every single denim product. How that is going to be possible. So we have developed a SaaS platform, which Akhil has shown. So if required, Akhil can also speak through later. So we have a SaaS platform which can enable anyone to do LCS at ease. It can also help you to do the LCS with a scalable approach with less hassles, I would say. And then having said all this, what is like many people think, oh, I've done my LCS, I've done my DPP, end of the story. I completely differ. I beg to differ. No, it's just beginning of the story. You have found out. Now it's time for you to really work with the supply chain, work with the levers. What can be done? Again, short, medium, long terms. What can be done? Okay, within 3 months, within this investment, this is what I can do. Or with zero investment, within 6 months to 1 year, within 1 to 2 years, within 3 to 5 years. This is how we have to find out the roadmap and work with the reduction levers. Right. Next one, please. So this is how one can think of, finding out the issues and work, backwards and forward. And as I said, case studies, I need a specific webinar to talk through. There are a lot of case studies we work with, and we want to just mention 3 case studies. One is AJ Denim. We work with 20 core products. We assessed through an in-depth primary data collection, and it's part of Kingpin's Amsterdam show. And this led to engagement with EU customers with digital product passports for the company and also with media pickup. So we assess the entire supply chain with this 20 plus core products, and we have given the digital product passports. We also help AJ Denim to market these aspects in Kingpin show in Amsterdam. Second one, Sapphire Mills. So we did in-depth assessment of new products for Kingpin's show, again, led to the development of custom digital product passports. And again, we are also working with all these customers. We have an ongoing project that is going to reflect the real impact of manufacturing innovations, because every customer is having a lot of innovations. So we are trying to find out how sustainable these innovations are. And again, we are also trying to find out what can also be done in terms of reduction levers. And again, these are all manufacturing sides. So we have got a lot of manufacturers. And I just wanted to mention one of the biggest denim companies in the US also we did work with. So there, we did work with in a different way. For example, they have earmarked almost 26 denim laundries across the globe. And I visited all these laundries with a specific checklist to assess the environmental and chemical management and footprints. And we, not only that, after assessing, we had a very lengthy program of coaching them to work on the hotspots and work with different capacity building programs, training programs across different teams within each country, within different factory regions. So we work with them. Within 1 year, 2 years, we reassess the entire situation, and we reduced, and we have shown the reduction levers, reduction possibilities, capacities. During the capacity building program, we also shown what is the best in class solutions which can be possible to be adapted. But again, these are all possibilities. Needless that you have to adapt everything. So that leads to the last slide of mine, which is the next one, please. Second loss. So this is the denim I talked. This is the denim book I talked about, Sustainability Denim. It's one of the most sold books. Please have a look at it. Of course, I'm not here to promote my own book, but this book is a very. I was told that it's one of the key references. It talked about a lot of aspects in terms of sustainability aspects, very much pertinent to denim sector. Please have a look at this. This will bring you a lot of key insights. And my last one. I thought it'll be unfair to finish a webinar without giving tips. Okay, again, these tips I've collated, I've collected by voraciously visiting all these factories across the globe. Again, you might think this may not be directly feasible to you, but it might be applicable to you. So deployment of recycled materials, recycled fibers within your supply chain. Recovery of resources, again, it could be salt recovery, alkali recovery. I've seen factories recover all the resources to even 99% and they reuse it back. And I validated those factories with all this. And we also calculated the impacts and savings. What would if they don't? Now they're doing, or they're doing it with 30%. What would if they do with 60% or 90%? So we also found out the different possibilities exist out there. Then ZLD, zero liquid discharges. But again, what is the benefit of having ZLD within the denim? And closed loop recycling with wastewater treatment, replacement of, I've seen hazardous chemicals, not only KMNO4, many other chemicals. I work with a lot of brands, a lot of retailers, a lot of manufacturers in terms of replacement aspects. So you have X chemical, if you want to replace with Y, what is the toxicity with 1,4-dichlorobenzene equivalents or with different other impact indicators. One can work with as many indicators as 16 with the PEPCR methodology, right? PEP methodology. Then, working with EAM from Genealogia. So I've also validated the EAM inputs and EAM impacts as well. So again, this is the non-exhaustive list. There are a lot of other methods, things one can think of implementing in terms of reducing the footprints.